Hello and welcome back to my channel on the Hook Crochet with Jeannie, and let's find out what's on the hook today. For the next couple of videos I'm going to be talking about projects that I have in the works and some projects that I'm going to do something with, and we'll talk about that maybe in the next video. But in this video I wanted to discuss the progress that I've made on two sweater projects. One is a vest sweater by Sewrella, and I've already introduced that in the previous video. And the second is the Confetti Cardigan that I also introduced in a previous video. So I wanted to show you the progress that I've made on this, and to maybe give you some insight into what it's like to actually make a large project in crochet. If you haven't ever made a sweater or a huge blanket or whatever, you'll find that you have to be persistent, and you have to make sure that you don't start a project that you can't finish. And if you can't finish, you need to know what to do with it and why. So I'm going to talk about all that here in just a few minutes. But first of all, I wanted to show you how far I have gotten on these projects. The first project is the Johnny Topper by Sewrella, and it is made in the Comfy Cotton blend yarn, which is very, very soft. And I bought the whipped cream color. So all this is in a previous video, but I wanted to reiterate. So if y'all had missed that, this is what the yarn looks like. It's Comfy Cotton Blend by Lion Brand in the whipped cream. The pattern actually called for a tweed, but I went for the white. It's made with a K hook. This is a K clover hook if you want to take a look at that. Very easy to use, and I love my larger clover hooks. They are awesome. Now, this is what Sewrella does on some of her patterns. This is one that I actually found. I thought it was a great idea. She comes up with the best ideas in the world. But to make the sweater in the round, basically, and breaking it at the front, because it's going to be a vest and open in the front. So what she does is she makes the pattern from left front to right front. So you're working around your body. And one good thing about that, among others, is that you can try it on after you've done several rows and make sure that it's going to go around you in the way that you want it to. So I did that same thing with mine, and so far I've probably done 20 rows on it, but it only calls for I think 23 or 4 rows, and then you break and work on the bodice. So this is what I've done so far. This is the, I guess this is the entire vest so far. See how long it is? And it goes around me just right, meets in the front. It's the perfect size. It was pretty easy to figure out. But I did that before I had gone more than a couple of rows. I think 2 rows. I will chain, do a couple of rows, and if there's some measurement that I can do to make sure that I'm not making it incorrectly or too big or too small, then I will measure myself and make sure that it's actually going to fit me. Sometimes measurements on patterns will say fits a 34-inch bust, but you put it on and it's, if you're 38 bust, it'll go around you. So you want to be sure that you're not making it too small or too large. And what I do then usually to accommodate that is I will change the hook size, maybe smaller or larger, right at that point so that I can move the sweater in the direction I want it to go, either smaller or larger, without ripping out the whole thing. Now sometimes you have to do that, but for the most part you can adjust it if you do it quick enough. So I have gotten this far on my Johnny Topper, and I'm excited because this is a summer sweater. And I'll be wearing this over a tank top or a short sleeve or long sleeve even shirt out of a spring color. And I find that I'll probably have a lot of uses for it because, first of all, because of the color that I chose, the off-white, and second of all, because of the ease of the pattern. And the armholes are really big, so you're not got a tight sweater on. They're cut out in the back, so it gives it a real springy, summery look. And you're still wearing a sweater over a tank top or whatever, so it'll either keep you warm or in a restaurant or wherever you go, or it's just a little more modest. So just wanted to say that. That's how far I've gotten on the Johnny Topper, and I will be finishing that fairly soon because it's a spring summer sweater and I want to finish it. The next project I had was a very large project, and I've had to persist and persevere on this one because it is a pretty good sized cardigan, has long sleeves, so there are a lot of pieces to make. And this particular pattern is the Confetti Cardigan by Sewrella again. And actually, it's a short-ish cardigan. It goes below the waist, but it's not a real long mid-calf or mid-thigh or anything. It's just below the waist, so it's perfect for me. And it's made out of a DK cotton, so I chose that cotton because I wanted it to be a summer sweater. And working through the pattern, I've basically finished it, but working through the pattern, I had to do some things that a beginning crocheter would not probably be able to do. They might, but and you learn by doing. So if you tried it and you're a beginning crocheter, and you can kind of figure it out if you work through the pattern. It's not an easy pattern. It's like a number 2 on a 4 scale. 1 being very easy, 2 being easy, but you know, with some excitement in there. And then 3 would be an intermediate, and 4 advanced. So what I did was, and I'll show you this on the pattern. This is a free pattern, by the way. On the pattern, I had to increase every 3rd row for, you know, 20 rows or something. So it helps me a lot to write down the row numbers, like rows 19. Here, I'll just show it to you. Rows 19 to 21. All right, in 19, the first row in this series, I would increase on each end 1 stitch. Really easy stuff, but you have to keep track of it. And then after I finished that, I would check that off. All right, and then the next set of rows would be 22 to 24. And then when I finished that increase in those other 2 rows, I would check that off. So that if I was interrupted or had to go somewhere or put it away for a day or so, then I would know exactly where I was to pick up. I wouldn't have to be counting rows and trying to figure out how far I had gotten. So when I stop, I don't know if I've got one of those on here. Yeah, I have start here. That was for my 2nd sleeve. And I did that whole one in 1 sitting, so I didn't have to really do a whole lot of keeping up with it. But all the way to row 39, every 3rd row you increase. So it helps me to put those row numbers down and then check them off when I'm done. So I know exactly where I am. And I always double check by checking the number of rows that I finish on. Make sure that I've finished the sweater, that I haven't missed 1 set of rows, or every now and then I'll count my rows halfway through a sleeve, for example, just to be sure that I'm not off count for some reason. Hey, I got distracted or got a phone call or was watching a crochet YouTuber, which I do quite often. All right, well, let me show you what I have here. This was the pattern that was, the back was made and then the fronts are made onto the back, directly onto it without seaming. And so this is, well, first let me show you the back. We've already seen this once. This is the back of the sweater. All right, and then these are the fronts that are crocheted on, if you can see that. See how it is right there? And we would crochet all the way down the front, and then the front matches the back. Well, it will be, once I get it sewn up, it'll be matching the back, like that. So there's the other side, same story. You just attach the thread in the middle and crochet down. And those go a lot faster because they're half as big as the back. And you think you're going really, really fast and you have to do another one. But it's okay because now I have the body done. And then the sleeves were 2 separate pieces, of course, and we're going to be sewing those on. So, and I'll keep you apprised of the progress as I move along. I wanted to show you the sleeve pattern because she is so inventive about her patterns. I love the way she thinks through them and says, I need a little detail here, I need a little detail over there. Every pattern has some specific detail that sets it apart from just a plain old sweater. So here is one of the sleeves, and I'll show you this. I haven't, tied in my ends yet or anything. I'll do that last. But down at the bottom, she has a front post, back post, which I'm not a big fan of, but it looks cute on here because she doesn't do a whole lot of it. She just has one row of double crochet, the next row is the front post, and then a row of single crochet, and then on to half double. So it's very interesting at the bottom. There, the different stitches make it look interesting. And then as she progresses up, this is all half double crochet, goes very quickly. And then at the top of the sleeve are all these rows of single crochet. It's so beautiful. Look at that. I love that. It makes just a subtle difference there. And this end will be sewn on, of course, at the shoulder. So you'll see that detail at the beginning of the sleeve. I just think that's an awesome idea. I don't know where she came up with it. She's just very inventive. So I've made one sleeve, and then I turned around and I made the other sleeve. So it's all done. The whole cardigan is done. What I have to do now is sew it together and then put the trim on. And the trim is, I don't know, some front post, back post to match the cuff on the sleeve, and then a row of single crochet to finish. So that shouldn't be hard to do. Once I get it sewn together, I should be well on my way to having that summer sweater. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about just very quickly, because I'm kind of running out of time, was in my next video I'm going to talk about making decisions again. We make a lot of decisions in crochet, and we want to be efficient, we want to be timely, we want our products to be finished at a good time where we can wear them or give them as presents. So I'm going to talk about that in my next video. So join me next time to find out what's on the hook.